here's a overview of the building, and you can see the 3 6-story atriums, 18 stories in the tower. The tower comes to grade and is sort of integrated with the city by its base, which is 2 and 3 floors. You're looking at it from the south, and so you can see that the building is angled on the site, and it's very deliberate because it faces due south where it can harness that solar energy. The base is clipped diagonally on that same alignment, south-facing alignment, and that produces a park, an open space, which was one of the reasons Manitoba Hydro chose this site. You can see the bridge link up on Portage, and we connect to that, and therefore are tied into the Winter City concept of weather-protected, climate-controlled, +15 systems. The side streets are equally important because they're part of the green connector system that I was talking about. And of course, what you'll see is that the solar chimney, which is on Portage, is driving the natural ventilation scheme. It's like a flue, but it's used for the fresh air ventilation system that is coming in through those south atriums. The ground floor plan, I think, is so critical to city building. All of the pink areas are retail, so there could be restaurants and shops. The blue area is service, but most importantly, on that diagonal, which goes north-south, there are 2 principal entrances. Obviously, the building is addressed on Portage Avenue. You can see the little red dotted lines where the +15 connects to Portage Place. And then from the south, which is from the Transit Mall, where people will pass through that small landscape park into the building from the south. We expect people to come at this building from all directions, and that the street frontages are animated with retail and ground-related, grade-related uses. This is just a typical tower. It's actually 2 buildings. One's a west loft, column-free, and one's an east loft, column-free. Gives space planners and facility managers column-free space in light-filled space. It's sitting on a raised floor throughout. We use it for the displacement ventilation concept, where the natural air that's coming in from the south atriums enters those floors. Individuals at workstations can tap it and get 100% fresh air. You can see the solar chimney. So really, when you look at this, it's 2 bar buildings, which are concrete, very, very flexible, column-free. All the things that drive the sustainable concept are up the middle. So you can see the south atrium. At the north, there are 2 3-story atriums at the north end, and from the north end, you will get a view of Portage and Main. If you're in that atrium, you will see Portage and Main. This is Transolar's diagram of just, you know, the visualization of how the natural ventilation works. It's separated from the heating and cooling. It's totally independent, and I think it's really a brilliant part of this concept. For example, in the winter, all of the air that rises and stratifies on any floor goes to the solar chimney and then is recovered and used to heat the garage below ground. Again, another visual diagram to show the 6-story atrium concept divided into pairs of neighborhoods, 3 stories on the north atriums, sitting over the base, all driven by this solar chimney, which becomes, I say, the signature and icon of Manitoba Hydro on Portage and on the skyline. This is early, but I still think it's relevant. We said that there were a number of key views, one obviously from the legislature, from the Forks, and hopefully a museum for human rights. Obviously both ways on Portage. The site's amazing. One of my staff who had never been here before said it's right in the middle of everything, and I think it's going to change the dynamic on Portage. Hydro made a brilliant choice, I think, from an urban design point of view, because this is really in the center of the center. So this is the way you'd see it looking west and looking from Portage and Main, roughly. And then almost from across the street where we are now, but there's a base which is 3 stories with retail on grade. There's a forecourt right on Portage, and then the solar flue. You're looking only at the west loft. There are parts, some places from which you will not see the whole building, obviously, and you'll only see one piece of it.
Sorry, buddy.
The forecourt entrance on Portage to mark, you know, it is the entrance to a major corporation, and so there's a kind of public place that's slightly indented on the street wall where you will enter the 360 into the gallery. Then facing south, this is the concept. This is the thing that our integrated design team in Manitoba Hydro is very excited about, which is the harnessing of solar energy. These are the 3 6-story atriums. And those atriums will be used for meetings, for all kinds of events related to the corporation and life of the place. And then you can see even the canopy. There's a large canopy that faces due south. That canopy is there because it's actually mitigating wind effects of the tower. The tower is set back on its podium really to try to create the maximum pedestrian comfort at street level, so that the mass of this tower will not be felt as much on Edmonton and Carleton. You'll definitely see the apex of the tower on Portage, but on the south, where we have a broad face capturing that sunlight, we're also presenting a surface to a prevailing wind condition. Now, that canopy resolves that, but it's also the soffit of it. You can see it's Douglas fir. That's recycled wood from the site. So we want the image of the LEED program and sustainability to be integrated into the architecture of the building, so that people can talk about it, that you can bring your children here and really explore the building and say, you know, there was a very different approach taken to this building. It's not a typical building. It's an amazing building for the long term. Just a close-up detail, this is really from Graham and Edmonton, and we set back with deference, I think, to the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. That area is a kind of cultural area. It's a fantastic street, Edmonton, I think, and this park was really going to become a kind of center for it. The interior hall, which really is about, I mean, you can see on the far left we have an image of that dam, you know, which I think is so central to the work of Hydro. And this is not only a public access space to get to the elevator cores and come from the south to the plus 15, or from the south you're looking towards Portage, but it's also a place of interface for educational programs between Hydro and the public, and I think it'll also be a venue for events, both for the corporation, but I think also I would hope that other groups in the city would see this space as a space that you could actually use in a community way. So that's it. We're very, very excited. No one really knew where we were going to arrive. I think we've arrived at an incredible place. I want to just read one thing, because he's not here, but he's fundamental to it. This is a statement by Thomas Auer, who is our energy consultant from Stuttgart. Manitoba Hydro set dauntingly high goals for their new downtown office building in terms of workspace quality, signature architecture, positive urban impact, environmental performance, and competitive cost. Through a closely integrated design process taking nearly a year, the design team, composed of client, architect, and consultants, industriously pursued these goals and produced a truly outstanding design. This building has the potential to set a new North American standard for the integration of workplace quality and energy efficiency with elegant, humane architecture. It may become, I say it will become, a leading global example for cold climate integrated building design. Thank you.